support to elevate your inner peace and your profits. I want to talk a little bit today with my pain warriors. And if that's not you, just recognize that that's likely somebody who is probably sitting right next to you or who you're going to spend space and time with today. Because the reality is that as a doctor of physical therapy, I see patients in my clinic, in my space, in my practice all the time who are dealing with chronic pain, and it makes sense. 50 million people are dealing with pain on a daily basis. That means 1 in 5 people, 1 out of every 5 people are dealing with pain on a daily basis. Some of them are doing it silently because they've talked about it enough, they've shared about it enough, and yet they're not finding relief. They're not finding any way to conquer it and kind of take their lives back. So this is a point of extreme passion for me, personally and professionally. So let me share a little info with you today that might help you manage and conquer your chronic pain today. So like, comment, and share if this speaks to you, or if you know someone who needs to hear this, see this, and connect with me about how we're taking our lives back from chronic pain. So as I've said, over 50 million people are struggling with chronic pain. And that doesn't mean there aren't things out there to try to help, because the surgeries, the pills, the medications, the injections, the needles, all of it is there. And yet the number of people who are struggling with chronic pain continues to grow. And I believe that that is because we have to take a more holistic viewpoint in understanding our pain, and not just pointing to where it hurts and trying to fix that particular area, because that system just doesn't work for us. So here's what I want you to do when it comes to dealing with, or even approaching, acknowledging, and conquering pain. You have to ask yourself a question. Here's the question. What is this pain telling me? When you feel pain, you have to ask yourself the question, what is this pain telling me? Because what we know about pain is, it is not as simple as if I just jab my arm with this pen, that my body sends a signal of pain, pain, pain to my brain and I feel it. It's not that simple. What we know better, and not even completely, but what we know better is that your brain gets to decide what information coming from the body is important, and when to label it and stamp it as pain. So with that, your brain decides when to turn on the pain floodlight, as I like to call it. It gets to decide that. And it's not always based on physical damage or danger. As a matter of fact, your brain turns on those pain experiences based on the 3Ds. And I'm going to share that with you guys. There are 3 very common reasons that your brain gives you the experience of pain. The number 1, discomfort. Like, yes, flat out discomfort. When we find ourselves in a place of physical or mental or emotional discomfort, your brain can flick on the pain switch. Can you think of a time when you were about to do something that was maybe scary, something new, you were going to perform or show up in some way in front of other people, and there was the possibility that you might be judged, or you might get things wrong, or you might not do things perfectly? Your brain can turn on pain to try to deter you from showing up in that moment. And it can literally tell you, this hurts you, and so we avoid it. Think about that. There might not have been any particular physical danger, but pain showed up. Maybe you had back pain, maybe you had some stomach pains, maybe you had a headache, right? That's a real trigger for pain for a lot of us. And when we ignore the reality and the complexity of that experience, our pain ramps up, because our brain says, oh yes, we've got to keep talking about this because it's working. So the second D is the one that we're all really familiar with. This is the one that simply explains pain, and unfortunately puts a lot of us in situations where we're having surgery, taking medication, or we're doing things to try to treat this reason for pain, and yet it's not working. That second thing is damage. Yes, so your brain is a protector. It's there to protect your body, because if your body gets damaged too much, then you can't live. So your brain will turn on the pain floodlights when there is damage, a cut, a scrape, a muscle injury, a bone injury, a fracture, all those things that we know happens to our tangible bodies, that can be considered damage. But here's the thing, your brain will turn on the pain floodlights with the possibility or the perception of danger, not even real damage. Like consider a time where you thought there might be glass on the floor and you're walking around barefoot, but you forget because you swept it up and you think it's all gone, and then you step on something crunchy and oh my gosh, it hurts so bad. You yelp, you pull your foot away, and you turn to look at your foot immediately, and guess what? There's no glass there because it was a potato chip, but you felt the pain. It's real. The perception of pain is real, and it doesn't always depend on damage to your body. So recognize that sometimes pain can show up because it's giving you signal from your brain that there's damage to your body, or the perception or the expectation of damage. Have you ever been hit by something and you yelped out in pain because obviously that should have hurt a lot, and there's obviously some damage? I got a bruise, I got a broken bone, I got this, that, or the other. And then it turns out that those things didn't happen, but you still felt the pain. So recognize that and honor that that is a part of the experience. It's not so complex. It's not so simple as damage causes pain. We also know that that's great news for those of us who are experiencing pain after an injury, an accident, some type of trauma. We know that even though your body might have healed, it's still getting the idea, and your brain is still convinced that there's damage there. And that can be causing your pain, especially your chronic and persistent pain. And the third D is despair. Yes, your emotional state, the feeling of loss, the feeling of anxiety and depression, and the experience of extreme loss can cause you to feel physical pain. It is completely proven, completely founded. And I know that for a lot of us who are dealing with this unforeseen changes in our lives that aren't specifically related to our bodies, but related to our emotions and our thoughts, it can be comforting to know that your pain is real and that you are not making this up, but that there are spaces and places that we can make a difference, because despair can cause you to feel and experience pain. And that's a reality. So as we recap, discomfort, damage, and despair can all cause you to have an experience of pain. And pain is subjective, yes, but it is very real. And it changes our lives. It affects how we live, how we see ourselves. It affects how we show up in our world, in our relationships with ourselves and with others. It affects how we show up to our job, to our roles as caregivers or as parents. It affects how we show up in our relationships with significant others, right? It affects how we show up in society. So it's important that we consider all of those things as part of the pain experience, which is why I'm so passionate about educating anyone who is experiencing pain or who is caring for someone who is in pain or who is serving someone as a clinician and as a professional in the space of the healing world. So I hope that those 3 Ds, discomfort, damage, and despair, help you to understand pain a little bit better. And I hope that this can give you a little more peace in how we're moving throughout our day. So I want to share with you guys some exciting news as we wrap up and get to our day this morning that I am excited to share in my new book. This is the Willpower Warrior Guide to Conquering Chronic Pain. It is an ebook that is filled with skills and tools and experiences and reflections and knowledge and audio and video and worksheets to help you conquer chronic pain and take your life back. And I wrote this for my patients and my clients in the clinic and in the community, but also for my clinicians, my PTs, OTs, nurses, physicians, doctors, anyone who wants to better understand the person who's at the center of the pain experience. This will help you, and I'm excited to share, and even more so because coming up on February 26th right here in Oklahoma City, that's a Sunday, February 26th, I'll be featuring my book and my work at the third annual Black Authors Expo, which is put on by Bell Publishing. I am so excited to be able to talk and to share and to really contribute to the community of authors here in Oklahoma City, as well as the space of reaching our community so that we can all live healthier and happier lives together. So come and hang out. It is free to register. Look up Bell Publishing. It'll be at Rose State College in their student union on Sunday, February 26th. I'm really excited about this, and I hope to see you there. And this just leads me to one more announcement. I am so excited that I'm going to be bringing this experience, this knowledge, this fun, the community connections, the vendors, all of them together this year, 2023, for our Chronic Pain Expo. I can't even share enough how excited I am about this coming, but there's a lot of work that we have to do out here in our communities, and I'm excited to do it with you and for you. So show me some likes, some comments, ask some questions, and follow me on wherever you're seeing this. Let's connect. Let's do our part to reduce the experience of chronic pain and live our lives the way we want to, with joy and peace and happiness. I'm Dr. Damon, your Chief Wellness Warrior. Again, I provide holistic training and support to help you elevate your inner peace and your profits, and that is for any person, every person, organization, and idea of living healthy and happy. So tap in. You can find me at thewillpowerwellness.com. Let's connect. Be well.